We're live. You were like,
I wanted to say something off the air, but I'll say it at the end of the show because just cause.
okay, all right. Well, good evening,
Hey
everybody, on
everyone.
this special Monday show because I have had, and I'm going to put it up here if I can find it. Hashtag cold from hell. All right. So
Mhm.
I have been suffering all week last week with this, and I am still suffering with it. But I am going to do this show because this week we have 3 shows. Yes. Imagine that. Yep, you're gonna have to put up with us 3 times tonight with Dane Stevens, Wednesday with Gabriel Cousins, and Thursday night at regular time with Rebecca Dawson. So 3 shows. The cold's got to go, and we will play our video the way we always do to tell you about our guest tonight, Dane Stevens. This is pretty amazing. I have to pat myself on the back for this video. I love this video. It's a cool story. It's a great book that we are going over tonight. Okay, Reclaim Your Power with Dane Stevens. So we're going to watch the video, and when the video ends, he will be with us.
Mhm.
Good evening and welcome to the Fox Den. I'm Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we welcome Dane Stevens. He is an author, speaker, and a facilitator. He is the developer of the Neurotrauma Healing Process, NTHP, and the Soul Recognition Process, SRC, healing modalities that were developed out of sheer necessity as he had had his nervous system seriously compromised by a well-meaning therapist who tried to force a childhood trauma out of him. It left him in a constant state of anxiety and turned his life into complete shambles, leaving him homeless, afraid, and out of control. It took him 5 years to understand what happened to him and another year to discover what would give him relief and give him his life back. The result of that 5-year search is the neurotrauma healing process. Dane now lives very happily in the interior of British Columbia with his life partner Anne, and they now teach the neurotrauma healing process to those in need of healing and those wanting to get trained in this profound new process. Dane feels incredibly lucky to have come through what he has and blessed to have discovered this process that brought deep peace, connection, and fulfillment to his life. He now feels a sense of duty to pass this valuable information on to others who need it. And we welcome you to the Fox Den, Dane. I feel like we should all be sitting around a campfire or something.
You always get me dancing with the
Great
intros.
video, great video. I have to say,
Yes.
nice job on that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Thank you very much. At the midway point, the ad that I will be playing will be for P Fox Advertising, which is all about making ads like that for other people.
Okay.
So if you guys like that video, and I can make them for you. Just saying, shameless plug 1.
Good.
She made my bio, my audio video bio. So when I go on shows, all I say is here. I don't because it's difficult when you send a bio to somebody. Some people chop it up and do whatever they want to it, but this way, I did the audio version of my bio. I know we're not talking about your book yet. I did the audio part, and she did all the everything else. So I could say whatever I want, and she just had to wing it with the pictures.
Oh, that's good too. Like that.
Yeah, because sometimes when you give a bio to somebody you go on the show, they only pick and choose what they want, or they're doing like me and going, I did the. So I can't read for beings.
Don't make me laugh.
For the words,
Yeah.
gives the pictures. Perfect.
Exactly.
Thank you. But I enjoy doing that. I really do. You know what? Actually, I'm going to make this bigger. There we go. Oh, I can see you better now. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I can see you better now, too. Ew. Sorry.
She's so mean to herself, damn it.
I apologize. I seriously do. I really tried hard to pull myself together for this show. I really did. So, I mean, I did the best I can. But I have my beautiful, lovely Canadian co-host.
Like,
you know, both of you guys.
Yeah, by the way, Canadians rule the roost tonight.
Woo!
I know, right? Take off, you hosers. All right. So, I can blame it on
I know. You had to. It's okay. I love you.
I have had too much cold medicine. But okay, now,
Sure.
yes,
Let's get to the book. Let's get on track.
let's get on track. We're gonna reel it in, and we are. We are talking about. See, I have the book up here. Oh, in this corner, and it's down underneath Mama D. All right, but this is the book. The book is pretty amazing. The story is amazing. The process is amazing. How you came up with it's pretty cool too. Um, so let's start at the beginning. All right. So what is neurotrauma healing?
No, I want to start somewhere else.
Where?
Why would somebody try and pull something out of you the way it sounded in the intro, and that's not something you wanted to have done? What anal retentive shithead tried to do that?
Yeah, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself in this because there's two answers to that. And the first one is, trying to force a trauma out of somebody is exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And on the other hand, I'm going to say that I asked for that. Unwittingly, unknowingly, and I don't talk about this in the first book. I talk about it in the second book, because which is coming out this year, which is I didn't know what I was asking for, and so it's kind of like life was working, but that does not, like you say, doesn't condone the fact that you never try to force out trauma. So your trauma healing process, safety and being gentle is number one. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, and the patient isn't the doctor. So the patient isn't the one that, like, oh yeah, I want you to do this. The doctor should know better.
Well, I knew nothing of energy or trauma at that time. I didn't know anything. So I was really in her hands. There's no question. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So now we have question marks. We have type, therapist hurt this person. All right. So, all right. Quickly, just kind of go over your story briefly so that they understand what is going on and what this how you got to the point of this psychiatrist trying to pull this trauma out of you.
Okay. So I was actually doing very well in my life. Had a very successful coaching training business, personal training, and when it was just going into coaching at that point, and making good money, had great employees, doing some traveling, living in a beautiful place off the ocean, driving the vehicle of choice. I was healthy, I was healthy in my body, had a good, strong spiritual practice and meditating regularly and being in nature. So life was really good in all areas except for my relationships. And I would end relationships prematurely, sabotage them somehow, and seek intimacy elsewhere. And it became a pattern. It's like, there's something wrong here. Something's not working. And that's where I had to look at the sexual abuse I experienced as a child. Had I dealt with that? I mean, I kind of knew the answer to that. I knew that this was a pattern about that, but I, was hoping I wouldn't have to deal with it, I guess. Right. So I went to a few groups, and that just didn't quite work for me. I did a bunch of different types of therapy, EMDR, talk therapy, Gestalt, and so on, and nothing seemed to really, open things up, or I didn't seem to get anywhere. And then I was referred to this therapist / healer, and she came highly recommended, and I felt really strong at that point, so I didn't even consider being knocked off course or anything. I just was so solid in my spiritual practice and feeling so grounded. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I went to go see her, and she was not cheap, but I was making lots of money, so it was fine. And a number of sessions in, she asked me if I would like to. She talked about going for a home run, as in, forcing the trauma. And I didn't really know what that entailed, what that was, and I didn't know about trauma at that point. Mm-hmm. I just knew I wanted to stop this pattern. So I said, sure, let's go for it, really not knowing what I was saying. So a number of sessions later, she talked about an energy circuit in my lower chakra, which made sense. And she said, when this breaks, stuff's going to happen. And sure enough, a bunch of sessions later, it did break. And I remember she would have me on a table. She did some body energy work. I don't know exactly what she did. Cranial sacral combined with something else. And I can remember very vividly that
was it hands on or hands over? Was it like
no, it was hands on, and she had me twisted in some position and tell me to go there. And I remember like being so out in the ozone, I literally couldn't tell which way was up. When I got off the table, I was feeling scared. and for no reason, of course. And I just assumed that this energy would pass. It was just something that got triggered or opened up or whatever. So I didn't think about it, and it didn't. This energy continued to stay alive in me, and if anything else, it grew. And it was feelings of insecurity, instability, and I can't explain it any other way, but fearful.
Mm.
And eventually, the inside being the creator of the outside, my world started to mirror that, and my world started to literally fall apart. And I started to lose clients and contracts, and lost the sale of a business. And I wasn't a millionaire by any stretch, but I had some money. But within 18 months, I was broke. And within 3 years, I was homeless. And within that time, she stopped seeing me.
Yeah, because you can't pay her, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's
But
like,
also,
well, okay.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I think more so even is she didn't know what to do.
what to do
I
with it.
literally remember, yelling at her on the phone. You can't. You're
But,
like,
can you do
Yeah.
that? Could you do that to someone? Could you break them
No.
and then let them just
No.
be homeless and out, homeless, hopeless, homeless?
Yeah. I don't know if she. Well, I think she knew I ran out of money, but I don't know if I got to exactly where I got to. But yeah, that's what
Have
happened.
you ever contacted her again?
I have actually tried to. Yeah.
She didn't want to.
Yeah. So that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, no.
That's
Because, I
her
mean,
issue now, but at least you
I
tried.
mean,
So
it took me a long time to come to terms with this, and a long time to forgive her. But now that I see, and I know that I did ask for that, but I didn't know. And once again, even though
he's the professional.
yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't try to force that. So it was very, can't condone that, of course. Yeah.
No.
Was she a licensed psychiatrist?
She was at the point like looking at becoming a part of the actual medical system in Canada, which is a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, cranial sacral and some kind of body work, which I still don't know exactly what she did.
I would be interested because I'm a Reiki master, so I would be interested in exactly what she did because I would like to smack the bejeebers out of her.
I know, but moving energies is a very powerful thing, and
It
this
is
really.
But you don't leave somebody in that position.
Yes.
Well, I mean, in that you don't try to force it out. That's just anybody who knows anything about trauma.
Yeah.
That's the biggest trauma I've had in my life by far.
Yeah.
And
everybody has one. I really think so. I think everyone has that one trauma that they tend to want to forget. You totally put it out of your head. However, you do find yourself in these patterns, and you're doing the same things over and over again. It's like the insanity part of it. Whether you turn to drugs, or you can't keep a job, or you can't keep a relationship, or you can't any of these things in your regular life functions you can't do, and it's all related to that trauma. But you need to release that trauma in the proper way. So now, can I ask you, what is neurotrauma healing, or NTHP, and then you have soul recognition?
Yes. So, and you guys, I'm glad you guys, a lot of people don't get that right. That's exactly right. Soul recognition, which means bringing back into consciousness. Right. So NTHP is the neurotrauma healing process, and it's a left-right brain process that allows us to consciously process the information that has been stuck looping in our nervous system. So it's
That's my baby. Yeah, if we do that when we're doing this, we're like waving to people. Oh, look at Bob. You got a heart from Dane too.
So the neurotrauma healing process, it's a safe and gentle way of accessing, giving direct access to the subconscious mind. And in that, you stay conscious, you stay in control, you're always in charge, and we facilitate. We don't tell people to do anything. We help you to get direct access to your subconscious mind, which is your most powerful creative faculty, said to be some thousands of times more powerfully than your conscious mind. And it's really awesome because that healing automatically segues. When you heal that part, you're making space inside of yourself that has been covered up by those looping tapes of negativity or doubt or fear, whatever they are. Mm-hmm. So when we do the neurotrauma healing process and heal these parts of us that have split off from trauma or just from a misbelief or what have you, what happens is your natural energy starts.
Really awesome because
that healing automatically segues. We can do edits as we're going. Perfect.
Bad mama.
I turned off the bud and it went loud. Sorry.
So when we create that space, our natural energy flows. And when I say our natural energy, it's our higher consciousness, who and what we really are, beyond the programming that we have been fed and bought into, beyond the thinking mind in that sense, to that place of stillness, that place of silence where that higher consciousness comes. And that is the soul recognition process, which is the same thing as NTHP, but it goes into the empowerment aspect. So, yeah.
So Jojo says, does it help physical healing from traumas as well as the mental health?
Yeah, one thing, we had a gentleman come to us, and he had heart condition. And first of all, I didn't know if he was going to embrace this, because we say there's two prerequisites. One is to be open-minded, because it is abstract work.
Yeah.
And that left logical brain wants to get in there and say, this can't work, or I'm too broken, or whatever, make you sick or whatever. So you have to be open-minded. And the second one is you have to be open to the possibility, the potentiality that you're completely responsible for your life, because this work will show you how you're creating your life, why you're getting what you are not getting what you say you want, and why you're getting what you are in your life. And he came to us, and he was a very successful businessman, an entrepreneur, and he had a heart condition. So I didn't know, first of all, if he'd be able to just let go and let what wanted to come through, or if, the heart itself would heal. So he was in a place where he, in I think 2 or 3 months, he was scheduled to have a heart operation. So that's when he started working with us. And within 2 months, his heart came back to a regular rhythm, and he never had to have the operation.
Yes.
So I didn't know. And that, we say that the people that come and do this work are coaches, counselors, and therapists, people who have done a lot of inner work, and people who need change. And he was to a point in his life where he was afraid. So he was open from that place, because he was open to whatever he needed, so he wouldn't have to have a heart condition and have a heart operation. So yeah, the body's the effect, and we are cause to that as well, and this shows you that too. So yeah, physical healing is definitely possible.
Is there anything that you won't attempt? I'm not even looking at the questions, and Gina's probably going to smack me later. I get smacked by Gina long distance. Okay, enough stories.
Okay,
is there any? Yeah. Is there any conditions that if somebody comes to you and says, I would like a treatment, I would like, help, and this is my condition, is there any conditions that you won't work with?
So as long as a person is open-minded, has the desire, like if somebody says, come and fix me, you're probably not available to the work, because it's not us. We are showing you how to heal you, and that's kind of the magic and the beauty of this work. So as long as a person is open-minded and willing, that's all that is really required. If we have somebody who has a deep-seated trauma, somebody's coming to us with, PTSD or some deep-seated trauma where they're, having trouble functioning, we won't work with them unless they do at least 12 sessions. Part of why this is so successful is because we work in immersion. When you're dealing with the subconscious mind, I used to work with people once a week, and it's like pulling teeth. Every session, you're just trying to get that part to believe in it and create the trust necessary for that part to unfold.
Circle.
Yeah. So now, if somebody came to us with a really deep-seated trauma that they have not been able to heal over the years, and we would work with them 3 times a week and a minimum of 12 sessions, and the level of trust that gets treated, and the momentum of that trust, and of connecting with that inner life on a continual basis, that is powerful and magical.
It is. And when you say we, who's we?
Facilitators. Yeah. So when I say that, we work with people one-on-one. It's always just one facilitator to a person. So I'm speaking on behalf of facilitator. And so I speak in the we.
Just making that note. I don't want people feeling like they're gonna make a session with you and have like this, parade of people in a room, And
it's very intimate work, and it's really it's a team thing, because we work with them in the start. We end up kind of spoon feeding them as far as how to connect to the subconscious mind, understanding the subconscious mind, making it safe and gentle and effective. But over time, and it doesn't take that long, they can take the work over on their own, because it really is simple, but there's a lot of stuff from the start. And one of the things is people being able to show up for themselves and show them the compassion they need and so on. And understanding the subconscious mind is very, very valuable and very helpful, of course.
But yeah.
Is it possible for someone to have a trauma, but not sure if it's actually a real trauma, or if it's just like, okay, I was a very imaginative child and I came up with a trauma, and my parents would say, "You're just making that up. You're just making." But for all my life, I knew it was there, but I didn't know if it was real or if it was actually just making it up because it happened so early. That type of thing.
So, great question, Mama D, because when you say the word trauma, most people think of some big physical, emotional experience, being in a plane crash, being abused in a severe way, an extreme natural disaster or something. And all of those are traumas. They are called big T. So there's the little t trauma, which are a little harder to spot, and people a lot of times don't recognize as trauma. And that would be something like neglect. So if you grow up in a household and you're neglected, I mean, nothing happened. And that's exactly right. And because nothing happened, because you weren't recognized in that way, you made decisions about yourself. And you had to alter your natural outflow of energy.
You come in and you stand in front of the TV and you say, "You make a better door than a window."
Yeah.
Move on.
You seen it
on. Used to say that.
My dad always said that.
And another one is like if you're living in grown up with a high functioning alcoholic, you might not even know you're on the receiving end of abuse, but alcoholism itself is self-abuse. So, in that way, you had to alter your behavior. You had to skew your natural energy. And, even if somebody close to you died, you had a grandparent who was very close to you and they were your safe place or whatever, and then they passed and you couldn't make sense of that or whatever, that too. So you would be hard pressed to find anybody that doesn't have a degree of what is termed trauma looping within them. So any area, whether it be in your health, your wealth, your relationships, your career, or just your ability to be a happy and fulfilled person, if any of these areas you have a chronic or a negative pattern that keeps happening, you keep making yourself broke, you keep going sick, you can't get beyond a certain level in your career or what have you, even up to depression, I can just about assure you, you have something stuck looping in your nervous system, unprocessed. And here's a bit of a quantum leap here, but maybe, just maybe, that's the universe's way of getting your attention and getting you to go inside.
Absolutely, right there. I think you just hit the nail on the head.
Because as long as you keep going outside and looking for somebody to fix you or something that's going to fix you, and unfortunately there's pills that numb things out, which is hard to cope with. But any of those things, you will not heal. You'll never bring it to resolution until you go inside to the source. And you can. And it's not that difficult. So.
Exactly. And we're going to put up how they can get in touch with you to do such things too. But Joan says, can they treat people that have gone through narcissistic abuse?
Yeah.
Abuse is abuse is abuse.
Yeah. And every person is different. Every client we work with is different. But it's always a process of unwinding. And it's unwinding those negative, limiting beliefs that are not true about you or about the world or what have you. So, as you unwind them, you start to understand and you start to see clearly. Because, when we're brought up, things are the way they are because that's the way it is, because that's the way it's always been. That's called a belief. And we have our blinders on, and that's what we've been shown. That's how we've been taught life is. So that's the way it is. Is that true? Not necessarily. So as we unwind and get down to the truth about us and unlearn how to give ourselves what we need, we start to get a much clearer picture of what happened and understanding. And in that, we can forgive. And when I say forgive, it doesn't come from the neck up. It comes from giving that energy back to that time. So when you give the energy back to that time, because it's not yours anyway, but when you understand that it's not happening anymore, and you can give the energy back that time, there's nothing to forgive, and you can be present, and you can look back at that situation and go, wow, that was horrible, or wow, look where I came from.
I know, and people think, oh well, that's the past, and that doesn't mean anything anymore, and that's just gone, and
it'd be nice if that was the case, huh?
wouldn't
it
really would, because seriously, that insanity comes slapping you right in the face, silly, right? Because you'll do the same thing and the same thing over and over and over again, and every time you do it, you go, oh, it's going to work this time.
Yeah. People saying, until if you don't pursue it, it will pursue you.
That's true. That is true. What you resist persists. Now, these are websites. If you are listening to our Anchor FM venues, any one of them, please go to our YouTube channel. You are going to want to see what I'm putting up on the screen. I am putting up his websites, which are www.anextraordinarylife.ca.
So Instagram actually says Instagram, but Instagram is now an extraordinary life.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll hide that. All right. Well, Mama, maybe you can fix that. And www.danestevensonline.com. Yeah. So the Instagram on the ticker is what now? What do I have?
It says Spirit Healing Tour, which is the book tour we did last year, so we changed it to
okay.
An Extraordinary Life.
Oh, okay. So can you fix that last one? Awesome. Yes. She's the best.
All right, Mama D.
Aha. Oh, and she put all the
I put the link, your websites in the chat room. They're right now in the Facebook. At the end of the show, I will go over and I will pop them into the links on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay. So Jojo says, I wish I could just let all my traumas go. Being an incest survivor and a rape survivor as well as domestic violence victim has been the hardest challenge for me. Oh my God. Yeah, honestly, this poor girl, she is like such a love. She's just such a love. And this stuff always finds her, and it's, and I think, Jojo, I think this is actually the one thing that can actually rid you of all of that in the past. So we're always trying to tell you, how wonderful you are and how beautiful you are and how deserving you are of a good life and, drama-free life. And so this is...
Yeah. And if I could, just, I know that Joanna probably knows this, and it's not an accident that keeps happening. And the word responsibility can be a tough one to use in this because, it can seem like blame, like you're responsible for, somebody abusing you, or you're responsible for, asking for abuse as a child. That is not at all what we're saying. But when you understand that it's happening inside of you, it's still alive inside of you, and it's out picturing itself, it's going to keep attracting that like vibration back to you. And that's the horrible part. So when we say responsibility, it's not blame, it's understanding it's happening inside of you. And that is the start of reclaiming your power. And I want to say another thing about that is, that's a hard journey, Joanna. And, under the...
And it's worse. I mean, it's worse because she ended up being pregnant by that too.
Right.
And she's gay. So it's like, that's like adding insult to injury.
So under the guise of we're never given more than we can handle, you have really taken on a strong spiritual path in this lifetime because you've had to.
Yeah.
So, just understand that you are strong and you are strong enough to deal with this and handle this, and you have great gifts through this. And I don't mean to belittle anything that you're going through by any stretch. But the fact that you are still here with what you've gone through, and you're here on a show like this, is so awesome.
No coincidence. And she says, I heard that mental and physical trauma can cause physical pains and stuff. I wonder if it's caused my heart condition. She's in and out of the hospital with heart conditions all the time. And, it does. All these things, these traumas and whatnot, definitely physically affect your body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The body is memory. So I just spoke earlier about the gentleman who had the heart condition and didn't have the operation, and yeah, that heart is being hurt and not trusting and
George.
allowing your love, your heart to come out because you've been hurt and wounded so
Yep.
much. So absolutely,
Mama.
yeah.
Hi, George.
Hi, George. I'm
She's
I
busy.
love you. George,
She's
I love you. You fool.
Welcome to the show, George. In other words, but Jojo, not to get away from you, but yes, I mean, because he just did talk about the man with the heart condition. This I would go for this. I seriously would. Um, whether you can work with Dane himself or one of his facilitators. Now you train all your facilitators, so
Train the facilitators.
yeah, so they know. And the way that the book is written too, and in the end, it's like you can see how they do it too. The book is good. It's like it's not saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It goes into it, and it does. And the way like you going through, if you're a facilitator, this is where you need to eat points, and that will make sense to you as you're reading it.
Yeah, anybody who's a facilitator is somebody who has brought themselves to wholeness, which I think is kind of an obvious, but with this work, when we train people, they get trained by doing their work, by coming to a place of wholeness so they understand the breadth and the depth of the work and how to work with people and have that compassion and create that inner compassionate connection and so on. So yeah, it's not just a course where you do a certain number of hours and you're certified. No, you're certified when you become whole, and when you're whole, when you're not.
But now here she says, I still wear my heart on my sleeve. Now I've known JoJo for years, and I think you can tell that. Okay, and it's not that she is not saying I have these issues and this is what happened and whatever. And I think you can get into that mindset too. That this is my story, blah blah blah. But it's not sinking in. It's not. You're not dealing with it. You're admitting it. You're saying I have this, but that's only step one.
Yeah.
So what would be the next natural process?
Yeah. And our subconscious mind is the prime drive behind our life. And that's where I talked about, I believe it's the universe's way of taking us inside. Because as long as we go outside and do that, we won't get anywhere. But, like you said JoJo?
JoJo, yeah.
Yeah, we call it JoJo.
She covers her heart in her sleeve. But the body can't lie. This thing tells you untruths all day long. So most people, unfortunately, just don't know how to access that inner part, that inner life, don't know how to do the inner work. So when you get in touch with that inner life, you really see what is true for you. And, it's positive thinking is fantastic and great, but like you say, it's kind of from here up, and it's not getting in touch. We talk about your brain. Your brain is a spontaneous response mechanism. It is not your wisdom. It is not your intelligence. Mm-hmm. You are intelligence, and that's a whole other conversation. But, your body holds everything that has happened in this lifetime and beyond. Right. So to access the intelligence of the body, that's where you can bring things to resolution. From the mind, it's coping, and it's trying to deal with it, and, even trying to overcome, but you will not, because the subconscious is your most powerful creative faculty.
And you go into this. You go into the loop. It's like the left brain, right brain will kick it back and forth. Your brain is actually playing ping pong with itself. In order for you to not put it down here, it's staying up here, but it's just going around in circles, back and forth. So you got to get past that point. And I just love the way that you wrote this. I just love. I hate the way that you had to. You know what I mean? I hate the process that you had to go through to get there. And what you lost, but out of great loss comes great gain.
Yeah, I have to say, without that, this process would not be, and this process is so obvious and needs to be known about. So, yeah, we're very fortunate in that way.
Yeah. Okay, so George says, I just got here. Please don't be mad for my question. I love the book cover. Power says everything. We all have the power to do anything. Here's my question. What is this book about? I'm interested. Well.
Would you like to field that one, Gina?
No, you.
It's about healing your inner ding dong.
Yeah.
So George, he's a donut.
And
So
it tells about my story too, because
Yeah.
I came from a place of bottom. I lost everything. I was homeless. And I was homeless, just to recap, because I had a therapist try to force a trauma out of me, which just totally messed me up. It just overwhelmed my central nervous system. I couldn't handle it, and I spiraled out of control.
Mm.
So it took me 5 years to figure what happened to me. And just to further that story, because I met Hazel Carter, who is an amazing um, uh, a trauma specialist, and she's a trauma specialist because she had the same thing happen to her. So apparently that's how we're made. Um,
Hmm.
but in connecting with her, it gave me great hope because she had been in a deep-seated trauma, had been in a horrible place because she'd had a trauma forced out of her, and recovered and was now doing very, very well. So, oh, my pleasure, Joanna. Yeah, any questions, just call.
Yeah,
Or
I'll put you in. I'll put you in. You know.
yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah, so and it took me. She was a student of Peter Levine, somatic experiencing. So through that, I learned how the nervous system works, how trauma works. So that was great, but I never got the relief I needed from that place. I still was revving out of control, and it wasn't until a year later where I stumbled upon John Bradshaw's work, and in that learned about the left-right brain process, which is kind of the foundation of this work. And there I made a connection to this inner life, and I made a connection to that scared, wounded part of me. And I tried to work with this part, doing this left right brain process. And I tried to work on my own, and I could not get that inner life to feel safe or to trust me enough to unfreeze. And I still held those feelings, and it was very frustrating because I knew it was there, and I made the connection, like literally the intellectual connection, and just went unfreeze. So I looked for somebody who could do this work, who did this work, and I couldn't find anybody. I scoured the internet and called anybody I thought might, and I even tried to talk counselors and therapists into it, and nobody would. And ironically enough, literally across the street from me, I found somebody who did this work. And Mary Hoffman, and she was willing to work with me. And within 2 months of working with Mary Hoffman, somebody seeing outside of my own filters, I was able to take the work over on my own. So from that, I took the work over on my own, and the process that I teach now just flowed out of me. And it goes from the neurotrauma healing process into the SRC, soul recognition process, because when you do that healing, when you are free of those limiting, scary, overwhelming thoughts and beliefs looping inside of you, it creates that space which allows your higher self, your authentic self to come through. And that's what goes into the soul recognition process. So that's
What a great recap you just did there.
Yep.
So that's it in a nutshell, George. I hope you're happy. Okay, so is this a natural process?
Yes, it is. Yeah, there's once again, you're in charge the whole time. You're conscious the whole time. It's your choice the whole time, and there's no medication, and you'll never be asked to do anything that you don't want to do. I used to coach for 15 plus years before doing this, and I no longer coach. And it's why would I? Because I know that you can get your answers from you. Why would we guess or try to figure something out when we can have direct access to what it is that you need, and what feels good and what feels right to you? And beyond that, where you can connect with this infinite love intelligence inside of you, we have amazing wisdom inside of us that we have no idea. And you can learn how to tap that wisdom inside of you through through the healing process.
Yeah. And I just want to add one point that you didn't go kind of recap and go over again. There's trauma with the little t and trauma with the big T. So there are two different traumas, like the major traumas, like, like you were saying, the plane crashes and and you're the only one who walked away. All right. So that's a big trauma. But the little traumas, the little ones really add up. And the little ones can destroy you, especially like from young childhood. Even if you don't remember, like you're too young, it can screw you up
Yep.
for your whole entire life. How would you get in touch with that? Like, say something that happened to you, at such a young age, like a toddler, you know, would it come out in like I don't know, hypnotherapy type thing?
So with this work, you get to learn what you don't know that you know. And we have it all there. It's all there. Like I said, the body is memory. So when we connect within, and we work with people from having stuff in the womb, and and they say that our persona is set by age 5, and anybody who's been around young toddlers sees that they are sponges. They're just soaking everything
They
up.
are. They're brilliant. That's what your
Yeah,
brain is, the biggest sponge.
yeah,
You
yeah.
learn the most in your
Yeah.
life.
And we don't know how to discern at that point either. So that's where most of the traumas really occur. So when we do this work, I can just about guarantee you'll go back to a younger part. And a lot of people say, I don't remember my childhood. And you don't really have to. We tell our clients all the time, there's nothing to do. You just show up and let the process guide you. And it's just a process of, peeling the onion, of unfolding that. And you have all the information inside of you that you need. So.
Okay, so if somebody doesn't remember their childhood, like I have issues, and as far as I know, I've had no major traumas. I've had one, I think, but that's where it's but I don't remember my childhood. If somebody brings me a picture of something in my childhood, I'll remember it. Sometimes I had somebody share pictures with me of supposedly my best friend when I was out, when I was a child. I was like, I don't remember this person. So if somebody doesn't remember, is that because they went through a trauma?
Possibly. And one thing I learned through my trauma is I was sexually abused from 6 to 8 years old. I forgot about it for 17 years or whatever it was, 16 years, whatever it was. And when I had an experience in my early 20s through a relationship, what else? It awoke with great intensity. And I remember. I mean, you can't forget about something like that. It's just so painful and overwhelming that you press it out of the way. The brain's MO is survival, so it will push this unwanted barrage of information out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still there, very much alive within you, but you can't block out a little bit of your memory. So chances are, do you feel you have a bad memory, Amadee?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was
brain protects you.
Yeah, I was a child who had a vivid imagination. That's so my parents said when I had invisible friends. Oh, it's time to get past that.
Yeah.
Now I know who my invisible friends were.
Yeah.
But there's something that I believe happened to me when I was a child, but I don't know if it's an actual memory or if it's a made up one. Because like I said, I was, my parents always said you had a very vivid imagination as a child. So it's like,
I do. My mother never talks about anything like with us, like girl issues or anything like that. She'd be like, here's a box of tampons, go and read the box, right? She did not explain anything. She would just turn red and walk away. But I know that there was a thing that happened to me when I was 4 years old, when we lived in an apartment building with the apartment next door, right? So I know that this situation happened, and my mother actually calling me, because I was up on the top floor of an apartment and she was on the ground yelling for me at 4. But I met my neighbors who the boy's mother I loved because she was an artist and really very creative. She made things, and I remember these things vividly. She made shell framework, and she had palm leaves. She had the big palm leaves, and then she would take pine cones and the huge ones, cut them, paint them like flowers, and put them all on there. And I loved it because I'm an artist. I'm very creative that way, and I loved it. However, her son was, doing his thing or trying to on me, But I only remember one incident. I don't really remember any other, but my mom kind of saved me. She called out the window, I ran to the window and I was like, I'm coming. I remember I even had a little Hawaiian thing on, I remember what I was wearing. I remember that. And then I ran downstairs. And then shortly after that, we moved because I don't know if I told her. I can't remember that. I don't know. I mean, at 4 years old, I don't know. But I know that we moved and we moved to, my grandfather's house
Yeah.
pretty much right after that.
So,
And she never talked about it.
oh, so she knew too.
I don't know. I think I must have told her. I must have because it was different. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I can guarantee you do know. And it's interesting with this work because, we said there's two prerequisites. One is being open-minded. It's like women are hardwired for this work, and they couldn't lie if they tried. So it's all there. I mean, women have more access to their brain, so I guess that's why it's so natural for a female doing this work. So I can pretty much assure you, if you to do this process, you would find out. And in that, we let the process guide us. So we don't necessarily go for specific information, but what comes up is what needs your loving attention.
Mm.
So yeah. And Mama D, I wanted to get back to you too, because just trying to recall here, you talked about you had a vivid imagination. I'm going to tell you my partner, Anne. And not having much trauma. So my partner Anne, that's a really cool story too, because when I started this work, I was in a very tumultuous relationship, and she did embrace the work, and I took my guidance and moved back to Canada and reconnected with, I call her my high school sweetheart. There's a 25-year break, and then we got back together again. It's like we never said goodbye. It's just bizarre, wild. But with that, I didn't try to push the work on her for sure. But after a while, she started to inquire, and she's the same. She never had any real traumas, and never doesn't associate or identify with anything in her life in that way. But she wanted to do the work, and she started doing it, and she just really embraced it. And she was really amazed at what came out for her. And she became a facilitator over time because she just, it seems like a match made in heaven, because it is. But so she became a senior facilitator. But what also came out of that is she is followed her guidance. But one of the things was she took a tarot reading class. This is probably a year or so after she became a facilitator, and just for fun, because as a teenager, she'd read tarot now and then just for fun. And after the class, the teacher said, "You need to be a reader." She chuckled and thought, "Oh, that's cute and that's nice." But anyway, the teacher said, "Let's get together." So she got together a couple more times, and kind of took her under her wing. She became a reader, and her first year, she had 700 readings. Yeah. And she's in demand, and same thing. She had a very vivid imagination as a kid, and her sister actually apologized for poo-pooing her growing up now that she's a reader. So, like I say, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who doesn't have what is termed trauma. Mm-hmm. And it's just something stuck looping your nervous system because we've had to alter our behavior. So it alters your natural expression or the full expression of yourself. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit, Mama D.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
It does. Yeah. And we are at almost at our halfway mark. I just read that wrong. I was like, oh no.
I did the correction on the Instagram, but I'm letting you know that after the break, I will make sure that all your links, Instagram, Twitter, the whole thing will be in the chat room, and everybody can just click on that link and make sure you go there.
Awesome. Right. And again, if you're listening to our Anchor FM venues, please go to our YouTube channel, the Fox 7 Gina B and Mama D. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and watch the video.
Yeah, it's important.
It is.
Great.
And let's see. Hold on. What else do I have here? Oh, this one. So you can get ebook, hard or hard copy on Amazon. And again, there are his websites, danestevensonline.com and anextraordinarylife.ca. So that's a little bigger picture of the book than the one there down below. So now, does this process that you're doing right now, does it have any side effects at all?
Yes, it does. You get to be at peace. Alive in your higher consciousness. Yeah. And that being said, there's not a person that couldn't help, but it's not for everybody. And
Yeah.
and I sound a little bit biased, I guess, but I say some people aren't ready for this. But as long as you're open and willing, and when I say open and willing, the only one that could stop, excuse me, the process from working is you. So if you just stay out of the way and let what wants to come through you, it is inevitable.
Mhm.
But it's not for everybody, and everybody has their own path. So if this is something that resonates for you, by all means, come and give it a go. And when we do a session with people, sometimes we just do an intro session so people can check it out. And what we want in the first session is that person to make that connection, that internal connection, and know that it's real. And that's really our goal for the first session. And yeah, it's pretty clear when you do it, you'll know. So, and some people may have healing right on the first session, some may not. But it is the connection itself to that inner life, that's the healing. So it's the
Now,
relationship.
have other people, like, I know when you said you were looking for this and you couldn't find it anywhere, and so you came up and developed all this and started all this. Now, are other people jumping on your bandwagon? Because I noticed that that's always a trend in whatever's going around. So it's like, oh, okay, let's everybody focus on what you want and it's going to come to you. Now it's no, work for it. You'll put work. Everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. Health wise is always the same bandwagons. It's like the keto diet, and now it's bone broth thing. You know what I mean? Everyone jumps on these bandwagons. So have other people jumped on your bandwagon that you've noticed?
So this work is really not new. I mean, the alternate writing process, part of it has been around for probably ever since writing in that way.
Yeah,
but
writing.
Nobody has made it into a usable process. So that's all that I did. I mean, it's more than that. It's a real in-depth process.
Do you want to get into it?
The left, right. See, and I had a challenge in putting this book out because it is the foundation, the left, right brain writing thing is so simple. But unless you understand the subconscious mind, and there's, unless you have, can show up for yourself and keep it safe for yourself, I didn't want to put it out there because I want people to stay safe. And for the most part, it is safe and natural. But unless you work with a trained facilitator, you're probably not going to get the full results. And hopefully, you don't bring up a part that, you're not able to properly deal with.
You'll know immediately that, if this is the right process for you. And to further go with it, because you do describe really in depth a lot of everything that you go through and the processes and what you do for writing, things and everything. And I'm a firm believer in writing. Her mama, she hates it. I'm like, write it, just write it. You get it out of here, you put it on paper, and that's already like.
Wow. And cursive writing, with the cursive writing, you're affecting thousands of neural pathways in your brain. So, and then use the alternate hand, and I mean, and that's the stuff that's been locked away. So
yeah, and you have one hand talking to the other hand.
Talking.
Yeah, answering questions, back and forth. Really cool. It's a cool process. It's a really cool process. It's a simple yet complicated, but very cool process. And now, what do we got? 5 minutes. Okay.
And I just want to continue. That's the challenge I had, is I didn't want to put the book out there as to whether I should put the book out there or not in its entirety. But you can't keep this a secret, so I put it out. And anybody who has any questions, need any help, definitely let us know. I don't know if anybody else is doing something like this, but it's possible.
I have not heard of it. I have not heard of this. I mean, like I said, I'm all for writing things and whatnot, and that's kind of going to be the preface for the book that I want to put out one of these days when I can get some time to actually write it. But it is doing and writing is key. I think. But there's so much more to yours than what it is for me, what I'm going to be doing. But I think I think I'm going to take this at this point and do our mid break, and we'll be back. Okay.
So because even a little question ends up with a really intense answer. So yeah.
Yeah, I know, because then you can get, into was it more in-depth things. I'm looking at these going, yeah, no, we're gonna wait.
Yeah.
So again, we will be back in just a few minutes. I'm gonna play my PFox advertising video I made right before the show, and I apologize again if my voice is kind of raspy because,
No, it's good.
yeah, I still have a cold.
No, it's good.
And tell me if you recognize the music, Dave, because I love the music that I put on yours so much that I used it for this one.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna play this video and our sponsor video, and then we'll be back with you guys right after that. Hello everyone, I am Gina Bankston, proud host of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, airing every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch on my personal Facebook page and our YouTube channel, as well as our many growing Anchor FM venues such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spreaker, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and more as we grow. We are also doing occasional pop-up free mini reading shows and shows with special guests on other days and times. You never know when we're going to do a show. So go on over to the YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe and hit that notification button to never miss a show. Why am I making this video? Well, quite simply because I make all my own show ads and bio videos for my guests, and many of you have asked if I can do this for you as well. Well, the answer is yes, and I'm calling this PFox advertising. I can make you a banner, picture ad, or a video ad for you, your products, services, or events. Treat your guest special with a bio video ad if you're like me and doing your own podcast. Or if you're going to be a guest on a podcast and you want your own special opening video using your own voice or mine. You can also run your ad on the Fox Den. I can create the ad, or we can run your pre-made ad. You can also be a sponsor of the Fox Den. If you choose to run your ad on the Fox Den, for the shows you book, the ads will be seen and heard live on YouTube and Facebook, as well as our Anchor FM venues. Prices vary for content, duration, type, lengths of time, and that's it. So what are you waiting for? Contact me, Gina B, at gbfoxinvestigates@gmail.com. The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NAPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The Easy Scan ghost boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure. And we're back! Yay!
Yay!
Oh, Mama's muted. She's sneezing? Maybe she's sneezing. She's coughed up. You're eating? Eating. Is she the cutest thing ever? I just love her to death. So we're back. We're back with Dane Stevens. I hope you guys enjoyed the ads.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best with them. Now we are talking about his book Reclaim Your Power to Create Your Best Life. And so I think I want to, at this point, before we get back into this book, you mentioned briefly that you have another coming out.
Yes.
So how does that stem off of this one? And when do you think exactly it's coming out? Because I want it.
So it will be out in the fall of 2021, and it's called Unleash Your Genius. And it is the introduction to the soul recognition process. And like you say, it's it's the natural progression of the neurotrauma healing process. But I didn't think we could take people, or people could go from dealing with a deep-seated trauma all the way to what I'll call spiritual liberation. So I separated it into two processes, NTHP and SRC, and therefore two books, Reclaim Your Power and Unleash Your Genius. So it's the natural flow, but you can't skip steps. So you can't, we all want to be healed and whole and live our fully expressed lives. Yeah. So the NTHP is the foundation of the work, and it naturally and automatically goes into the soul recognition process, which is the empowerment aspect. And there we deal with 4 archetypes. And here it's about becoming fully self-expressed, learning how to feed yourself and what your core values are, or who you are from that higher consciousness standpoint. So the 4 archetypes are the lover, the warrior, the magician, and the sovereign. And when you have those 4 pillars healthy and fully self-expressed, you get into that state of flow or effortless effort, and where you're feeding yourself on all these different levels, and you're in balance. And when you're in that natural balance, your energy flows freely and in a very balanced way. So it's quite magical, and can't wait to share this. And anybody who has done the initial work, a lot of people have already gone through this type of work, who's done the NTHP work, because that's what occurs. It's what it goes into. And we've added on the archetypes, but that seemed to just kind of flow too. I don't feel like I can take responsibility.
Yeah, these things are divinely inspired, right? Coming from you. Everything's just coming from you, from a like a knowing place.
Yeah, no, I'm the fortunate one that it was able to come through. But it's kind of like electricity. Always been here. We just didn't know how to access it, or didn't know it was here. So yeah.
You trust the light switch goes when you turn it on, the light's going to come on.
Yeah.
But it's work, it's work. Trace that line back as power source.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to, it's not a quick fix, but it really is the real deal, where you get to bring it to resolution. Therefore, don't have to keep dealing with it. You get to bring it to resolution. Therefore.
Now, can this be trauma from like ancestral trauma as well? Like you said, you work in the womb, right?
Yeah.
So we've been
trauma is trauma. Yeah.
So there's no prerequisites for anybody that you work with. There's no special things that anybody needs, to have you have to be sexually abused, or you just, this is not it for you.
Don't wish that on people. No.
No. I'm just saying, like, because some people are, these are
Yeah. No, and like we say,
things.
yeah,
It's the big trauma, the little trauma, and they
right.
all add up.
Yeah.
Hi,
And
Steve. Long
okay.
time no see. Does everyone and everything have the same level of energy? And if not, how can one increase their own energy?
Cool. So that's kind of what we're doing in a sense, is what we're dealing with when we deal with trauma is parts of our self that have split off from our, call it higher authentic self, but from the present moment. And therefore, this steals our energy and it diverts our energy. So, if we were growing up with a high functioning alcoholic, we formed some beliefs about ourselves and we had to operate in a way that sometimes maybe was like pussyfooting around, or we had to change and alter our actions and our behaviors to fit that mode. And that's the case with all family dynamics. When we fit in, we play our role, kind of thing. So, and most of the time, we get our energy gets skewed, so it's stopping our natural energy flow. So when you heal these parts, and what this was that a gentleman who was with me?
Yes, Steve.
When Dean just asked, is when we bring these parts back into this present moment, we are allowing all of our energy to go in the same direction. So we're bringing the parts of ourselves that have split off. And when I say split off, they have a belief in separation from higher consciousness, from source energy, from spirit, from God, call it what you will. So when that comes back into alignment, you get to be present in this moment and back in choice or in your power. So, it's just a matter of dealing with those erroneous limiting beliefs and bringing them back into this present moment. So,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that's. I think you answered it, but that's how this goes from a healing modality and just going in.
Yeah,
And
yeah. What Dean just talked about is
Steve,
taking the trauma into the empowerment aspect. That's what happens. Yeah, that's right.
pretty cool stuff. It's
It
really
is.
neat.
Yeah.
This is I mean, you can see the book down there. The book is pretty. It's it's not a complicated read, but it really you have a lot of aha moments. Yeah, it's Steve, not Dean. So he says thank you.
My pleasure.
There are a lot of aha moments, a lot of things that you do, come to think about. Now, this part's what I was thinking about, like when Mama was saying she can't remember a lot of her childhood and such. I mean, there's a lot of us that can't remember our teenagehood, but that was due to the fog that we particularly put upon ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So really don't know what could be traumatic in there. Now,
Right.
could that be a thing though? Could that be something that your subconscious knows happened to you, say in a drunken or a drug-induced stupor that you maybe blacked out in? You don't remember.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But these aspects of your life are being,
Yeah. And that's the thing too. And we have a lot of people that come to us and say, I don't identify with a trauma. And so, but it's what's going on in your life. So, what is the pattern that you'd like to deal with here or heal? Some people are just coming for spiritual liberation, which is great, but what's going to come up are these things that are in your way that have a belief in separation from that truth about you. But once again, the body is memory. So, if something happened to you, the body knows. So it's wild in that way. I had one trauma come up for me, and it came up, and I just like, what? I don't think this happened to me. And I had to ask my mother, did this happen? She goes, oh yeah. And I was 4 years old, and we were living in Vancouver at that time. And I wandered away from the house, and Vancouver is always very wet. I got stuck in the mud like a block or two away somewhere, and she couldn't find me. She was freaking. I guess I was just screaming bloody blue murder, and some wonderful Asian man came and got me out. And then I guess it was a couple hours later or something, and I came home all in tears and so on. And my mother was just distraught, and but I didn't remember any of that, and that was held a big chunk of fear in me. Didn't remember it, so yeah.
Now, is there a thing? Because I laugh in the face of danger. I really do. That's like my coping mechanism.
Okay, yeah.
That face, I will laugh. I'm sorry. I will pick you up. But I will
Exactly. She always says, if you fall down, Mama, you know I'm going to piss myself laughing, but I'll help you up. I was like,
we'll help you
true
up.
love.
Yeah, yeah. And the best story of that, you know, my late husband, we were out fishing. He was learning how to fly fish. We're in a blow up boat, an Achilles boat, right? He's like, I'm at the Cape. We're in the bay, and there's the ocean part, and it's like we're drifting over to where the ocean part comes in, the wave part, you know, and I am supposed to turn the motor on and go back into the bay when we drift out there. That's my job. But it's hard to do your job when this hook is whizzing by your head. You know, so he's out there doing his thing. He's whipping that thing around, and I'm just like, you know. And then the waves start crashing because you know wasn't paying attention. The waves are coming over the boat. He turns around like, seriously, honest to God, like we were gonna die, panicked. Which is the worst thing you can do for me because now I'm in hysterics. I can't do anything. I'm like, we're not going to die. The shore is right there. We can get off this boat. We can swim. We can pull the boat over. You know, people are right there. We're not going to die. But the look of panic on his face was hilarious. And he's like climbing over me to turn the motor on to get back over there. And it's just funny. But, you know, I mean, people, I think, deal with trauma in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, or things, you know, mishap things. I mean,
Right.
I know a lot of people laugh, right? Because I'm not the only one. I know that they do.
I remember when I was a trainer, there was one, and I could tell when it was getting too hard for this one girl, because if it got painful, she'd laugh. And I went, oh, that's how I can tell it's too much. So, yeah, different people handle things differently. Yeah. And with trauma, you know, why do some people go into trauma, some people don't? Why do some people go into fight or flight? Others go into freeze and immobility. And it's been said that if you can't get away in fight or flight, then you'll go into freeze and immobility. But there's just so many variables there. We don't know why.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I never made that connection until reading your book about the freeze and the mobility, because that does come in handy. You know, like when we watch horror movies and, you know, the people are out in the woods and they're running and it's just like, stop, just hide, just stop. You know? And some of them do that and some of them don't. And it's just like, but you realize, you know, how many times in your life have you done that? You know, and there is the time to fight. There is the time to run, but there is that time to freeze, you know, play dead. You know, basically, or just, you know, you can't see me, the invisibility. You can't see me if I'm not moving or breathing.
And, you know, it's almost like not a choice. It's an automatic response from the body in that way. Like this is built in with animals that may be their best chance of survival.
Yeah. And there was a name for that, but what? Well, do you remember? There was a name.
Well, there's the parasympathetic and the
parasympathetic.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, see that? You know, because I can bring that into the paranormal field.
Yeah.
You're being parasympathetic. And freezing. But that was funny. Hi, Michelle. I know she probably put up some kind of a.
Yeah, she put up a little happy skull.
Oh, okay. Because we can't see it here on the chat here, but we'll see it later. So this is fascinating work. It truly is. Oh, this is a good one. All right. So what is your vision for this work and its processes? Like, where do you see this going?
Well, it's so obvious that eventually it'll be mainstream, but right now it seems like it's not necessarily going in that way. And I kind of had to come to terms with that.
You know, and there is the thing. There is the time to play.
So obvious that eventually it'll be mainstream.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. I muted.
Yes, eventually it'll be mainstream. And and just to, you know, get enough people trained, enough facilitators trained to give the people the help that need this help, to have access. People have access to it. So that's really my goal, and I'm looking at training more and more facilitators. That's kind of what I'm doing now, and having enough facilitators to help the people that need this process, and bringing people to a place of inner peace and inner harmony, and therefore, you know, stepping into their power.
With this coronavirus thing, are you able to do?
My mind.
Okay.
Oh
I mean,
my
okay, other than the one where you said you're fired, woman, and you used another word.
God, I was gonna say, did COVID affect you?
Does this affect? Can you have, like, I know you want to train solicitors. Blah, 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 blah. The word, okay?
Yeah, I think I gave it to you. Yeah, facilitators. Yeah.
Facilitators. Thank you very much. I got two different words going on in my brain right now. Okay, I know you want to train them, but like you said, everybody has to go through checking out their own, finding their own traumas and healing from those. Can this be done via Skype or Facebook or whatever, or is this technically an in-house thing?
Yeah, no, we've been working with people all over online for years. So before the pandemic even happened. So, well, we're working with people from all over the world, so we've kind of had to.
Yeah.
But no, it's one-on-one, but it's some people who aren't used to doing this type of work over online. It might take a session or two to get used to. But no, it's just as effective. You do the same work and get the same results. So.
And a minimum, I know you said earlier, one of the minimum challenge sessions you have to do is 12 sessions.
Yeah, and that's go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, if somebody's dealing with a deep-seated trauma, and they come to us, I'm not willing to, we might give them a trial session kind of thing.
Okay.
But if we see somebody who's really deep in it, then we won't work with them unless they do 12 sessions, because what happens is even though it's safe and it's gentle, it can be confronting.
Okay.
So, and crazy it is, people pay, people show up, whatever. So when you do 12 sessions, in that 12 sessions at 3 times a week, you will get a degree of healing and you will know. So in that, you're not left hanging out there.
Yeah,
and
like you were.
Assures us that a person's not going to get left hanging out there, and it's their safety, so they'll know how to work. After 12 sessions, you can potentially take the work over on your own. And we want you to come to traction, which is having a consistently healthy and positive connection and relationship with the life inside of you. That's when you have that's traction. Not everybody will have that at 12 sessions, but a lot of people will, and they'll definitely have an understanding of the work after 12 sessions. So they can potentially.
And then you could know the ones that are like snowing you to give you like the little T's and not get into the big T.
Well, whatever T and the
I know it all matters, but but there would be people that would be like, well, just keep throwing little T's at you to avoid doing the deep.
It's like we don't have a choice. Like we let the process guide us, and what comes up is what comes up. We don't choose what comes up. We don't know what's going to come up, and what comes up is what needs your loving attention. So, it's interesting. If a person, I guess we can stop ourselves, but it would be very blatant. It's very conscious for you to stop yourself in this work. And like I say, with females, it's like we're hardwired. You can't lie, kind of thing. It's what comes out. So we really just let the process unfold and let whatever it is that needs to be addressed.
So in other words, are you saying men are better liars?
Well, I don't know if that's the right word, and it's more like they have the ability to hedge back. They're a little more. What's
he talking about? Hedging what?
They're used to that left control brain. They have that a little more than the females, who have more access to all of their brains. So
if somebody comes to you and says, I'm not sure, can we have like that first one session and then see how that goes? Yep. Is that something that have you ever had anybody who goes there and says, okay, I'm done after one session, I'm good, I don't need to go any further? I mean, I know you allow it, it's not like a choice that you have, but have you ever said to somebody like, you know what, I think you could use more, but that's up to you, that's your choice?
Well, yeah, we talk about that as to my facilitators, is we are the professionals in this, and it doesn't mean telling them what to do. We never tell anybody what to do. We guide them through the process so they get the information from them. But if there's stuff that we don't feel they're addressing, it's our job, our obligation to say, you're not done, and this stuff is here if you want to do it. Obviously, like you say, it's not up to us. And for a while, it took me. I was quite attached to people getting healing in the start. I have to say that was my stuff.
Yeah.
And I have to just let it go. I mean, it is up to them, of course, and they have to want to. So, yeah.
Well, I think I'll talk to you about having a first session and see how that goes.
I know, because this, out of all the things and a lot of the books that I read and such, this is the one thing that I would say I would seriously consider training to be a facilitator for.
Nice.
How much
we
I
need more. So by all means.
You know, I do. I believe in this process wholeheartedly. You know, so many aspects of it, the simplicity, yet how in depth it is.
Yeah.
It's just
natural.
And natural. Yeah. You know, and I do. I just, I can stand behind you 1,000%.
It's true. You say, like, oh yeah. Oh, this is how we work.
I know, and you don't.
Brain works. Oh.
Well, I've always said too, you know, left brain, right brain, because you know, and what you say is also true because women do use both sides of the brain, and men only use one. You know, so how you process things are different. Mostly, mostly, because there are some men that do. You know, and a lot of people put multitasking down. You know, and I'm not one of those. I have to say that's one of my biggest flaws. I like to multitask. I do it all the time. However, I should not do that so much.
Do you meditate?
I do. I do. However, I need a guided meditation still. After years, I still need a guided meditation because my brain will go off multitasking.
You know, try session. Yeah, try session. Yeah, and just see, because that's kind of what we're doing. We're processing things.
Yeah, because there's a lot. There's a lot.
We're really moving, I believe, in this time. You know, we're in a real time of healing in the world right now. And it doesn't seem that way because all of our stuff is brought up. But all of our stuff is brought up for healing. You can't feel it, you can't heal it, kind of thing. And it's really been brought up, not, you know, in us individually and collectively. So it's been a really interesting.
There's a global conscious shift going in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. So and you know, with the healing, that left brain processing is, you know, it's the foundation of, you know, when we have processed that stuff, we relax, we become present. And I was going to say that we're moving from a place of doing into more being, and almost more of a connection to life and a trust in life, because, you know, when we get out of the way, we might just see that this life is alive and supports us and loves us and will look after us. And a lot of people are in that doing mode because they don't have that connection. They don't have that trust. So in order to receive, you have to stop.
That's true.
True. That is true. And have compassion and stuff too for your fellow man, because, you know, we're not designed to be on the planet alone.
No.
You know, and a lot of people just don't get it. You know, and they don't. Natural processes, they don't get it.
Right.
You know, maybe they've been blocked out by these traumas, but they do naturally come back once they are unblocked.
Yeah.
And not like moving to another dimension. I think it's like morphing into the next phase. It's more than moving. I think, you know, I mean, because it's a complete and utter change from the inside to the outside.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, I just want to let anybody know, if y'all are hearing some kind of like heavy breathing going on.
That's my dog.
It's Lacey.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi, Lacey. Yeah, she's over there. The poor baby. She's just not doing well. She's an old.
She's got mama's cold.
Oh, you're talking about Gina's in Gina's place.
Yeah,
yeah.
She can hear it. Well,
I can hear it. So. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But, you know, I feel bad. I don't want to put her in the other room because she's just not well.
No, I didn't hear her anyway. So, yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I know, but then I know the sound, so I'm used to it.
Right, that's right.
It's not me.
It's not Gina. She's not heavy breathing that much.
She's looking at me like, why? What did I do?
Is there anything in this process that could be considered dangerous?
Like I said, I put the book out, and it took me a long time to put the book out because I didn't want people to put at risk in any way. And it still is safe and gentle, and part of that is because it comes from you. And
Yeah.
as long as you are gentle with yourself and don't try to force it, and I guess that's the only way is if you try to force it, then that would be. And I've had some people who start and then stop, and I go, ooh, like
Yeah.
going, and sometimes that can create some havoc in their lives. But no, for the most part, it's the safest, and I believe the safest and gentlest way, and most direct to get to your subconscious in a really intimate way. So, yeah, yeah, I don't see no, as long as you're not forcing, and that's where we really would like people to work with a facilitator just in the start, just so
Right.
so we can make sure and sort of assess, make sure they're safe and they can show up for themselves and so on.
Okay. Now you said you have been working with a lot of people worldwide. So you have facilitators worldwide. Oh, no.
Actually, only in North America so far. Actually,
So far?
we have there's one in Germany and there's one somewhere else, but they're not practicing at this point. So it's interesting too, because when you do this work, you really get to what's true for you, and things can change. So it's kind of interesting. People who come to this for a job probably not going to work out for them. Maybe. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is something where this work kind of chooses the people.
Yeah.
So
I think I think it's like I do, for lack of a better word, I do consultations with people when they need. I'm the ear that they can talk to. I'm the shoulder that they can lean on when it's necessary, and I don't judge, and I just let them go. And they want my opinion, I will give it to them, but I usually give them two sides of the fence. It's like, if you do this, this could happen. If you do this, this could happen. But you could see something else, and I don't charge. It's hard for me to sit there and go, I'm gonna charge you $60 an hour. It doesn't make sense. It's something I do from my heart.
Nice. That was on that one.
Yeah, but you have in here. You do have guided meditations in here.
Yes.
And
yes.
There's a lot of them, and
so Gina's going to record them all, and I'm going to listen to them.
So I actually have them, and I'm gonna on that note. They were put up originally from website, and they're being charged for them. But wait, I don't want to charge for them, so we're gonna put them for free. The audio version of those guided meditations.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, you get the book, you can have the guided meditation there. Can take you through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then go to danestevensonline.com and go to the free resources page. And if it's not there, email me, and we'll send it to you.
Do I have your email on the banners?
info@anextraordinarylife.ca. I love your butterflies, Mama D. You're a butterfly person.
I work with butterflies. They kind of sort of came into my life, and I knew that that's where they would work with sending healing, because I'm a Reiki master, and a distance healing. I knew the first time I wanted to send healing to somebody, I wasn't just, here's a chi ball, let it go. I had to have something that carried it, that was soft, that was gentle, and the butterflies came in automatically. And
nice. Yeah. That works. Yeah, Annie would love that. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. There we go.
All right. So there's the email, info@anextraordinarylife.ca. I had such a hard time with, I wrote it once, and then I copied and pasted, and I had it wrong on a lot of things.
Well, you know what? You missed an R.
What did I do?
Sorry to burst the bubble. You're in the middle of the story too, huh? Jeez, sorry.
Yeah. See? I can't see because I don't have my glasses.
It was kind of a long name. I love the name. I love An Extraordinary Life, but it's kind of long.
Extraordinary Life.
I think it's the "an" that keeps confusing people.
Sometimes.
Yeah. An Extraordinary Life.
Yeah. An Extraordinary Life. Okay. Well, there it is. Now
there you have it.
Okay. We got it. So you can email him there. You can go to the websites, check out all the websites, check him out on all the social medias. So LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and
And I'll be putting them all into the chat comments of Facebook, any other way place, and YouTube.
Yeah.
But go to YouTube, sign up for it. Wait a minute. Here's the thing. Go to YouTube, sign up for our YouTube, be a subscriber, and go to Dane's. You don't have that many subscribers. Well, we're going to get you there.
Cool.
Yeah. It's like I kind of like, because you know that I've had this hashtag cold from hell. The very end of this book, I need to read it again because it was like I was just my head was just so foggy. Like I read about 10 pages and then I'm going, why is this not sinking in? So and I apologize, I do have to like finish the end of the book.
Okay.
Read the end of the book a little bit more. But it has been the cold from hell for me.
Yeah.
You should say cold from Canada, right? Go ahead. Cold from Quebec.
Even from you. Well, there you go.
Yeah, she gave it to me online.
Oh, that's right. That very giving person, that long distance giving.
Oh, I'm just so sweet that I am.
But everybody else that gets it, it's gone in 3 days, and I've had it for. I'm going on my second week now.
Oh, no kidding.
Dying.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, you didn't do it last week. You must have been. If you're better now, you must have been wrong.
For me to cancel a show is something.
Yeah.
I hardly do that, and I was I just can't.
This is the first time since I've been with Gina, and I've been with her for a year. It's the first time she's had to cancel a show because she's sick.
Yeah, but I was like I couldn't talk at all. It was not good. I was like, oh no. Today I can sort of talk. You know.
That's worse than a head cold, especially in the summertime. Oh, those are the worst.
I just don't know what to do. I stayed down. What are you gonna do? Oh God.
Hot rum, I'm telling you, hot rum. Make for an interesting show.
We're gonna do a drunk show one day. Except Gina doesn't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So she'll be the sober mind of.
Yeah, I'll be the designated Mike.
Okay.
I'll have the mute button.
She'd be on a mute. She'd be muting the heck out of me. Like what?
You'll be driving the show, no question.
What damn?
That is true. So now, did you have a podcast or do a podcast or something?
No, I have not.
You should.
No.
You should.
Yeah, could I've interviewed people. I love interviewing people actually. Some different modalities and so on. And but I have not had a consistent show. And I've been doing this. I'm right in the middle of finishing book number 2, the second book right now. So that's kind of taken my focus for the last few years. Did a book tour, which was actually got really lucky because the last event was in Seattle on March 1st of 2020. So we came over the border just before all the craziness broke out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we got lucky though. So, but ever since then, it's been.
Now,
again, you say we.
What's that?
You say we.
Well, it's me and Ann. Yeah. My other better half.
So talk about now. Did you already mention how you met her?
Well, we grew up in the same town. I'm sure you've heard of it, called Salmon Arm. Have you heard of Salmon Arm? Nobody. It's a sweet little town in the interior of British Columbia with the most amazing lake, and it's a huge lake. I think there's like 10,000 miles of shoreline. It's not big though. Like it's got a whole bunch of.
Are there any cryptids in the lake?
Cryptids. I don't think so.
like a Loch Ness.
Oh, like an Ogopogo or a Loch Ness.
Yeah, that's why I haven't heard.
We have any?
No, they got good fish.
Yeah, lots of fish. Yes, lots of fish.
You can take Bob and go fishing.
Yes, lots of fishing out there. And water skiing. We water skied all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
But we grew up there together and graduated together and lived together for a short period of time. And then we don't remember saying goodbye. Went our separate ways. And 25 years later. Okay, here's the story. I'll tell you the story actually, because I was just discovering this work or on the verge or what have you. And I was in a relationship that was very tumultuous, break up all the time, get back together. And one of the times we were broken up, I sent I was doing some soul searching, and I sent a Facebook text message to Anne, who I hadn't seen in 25 years, sort of apologizing for not being available when we went out. And that not long after that, I followed my guidance to leave that relationship and go back to Canada. And she got the message when I was back in Canada a year later. She didn't open it until then. And I had been back in Canada for like 2 or 3 months, and she got the message, and she got back to me when I was there. And she was just out of a relationship, and we connected like shortly after that, and went for a 2.5 hour walk around the park, and haven't looked back since. It's been quite amazing.
That is so funny.
Now she's just
My late husband, I we dated when we were much younger, and that was our drinking, partying, crazy days. And I ended up going to AA, and he stayed out there partying and whatnot. And years later, I was driving by one of the places that we used to go to for meetings, and I see this tall, gorgeous blonde guy standing outside, and I was like, wow. Because you really just stood out in a crowd at all times. And I was just like, as I'm driving, I'm going, ooh, and then he turned around and it was Mark. I'm like, oh my God, that's Mark. I had to stop, go in there, and talk to him. And it was like, it was so nice that he got sober, so that started the whole thing. Now I had a really cool car at the time, so we were sitting in my car, we were talking and stuff. I told him basically where I lived, now and stuff. He goes up and he starts like, he's looking for me. I didn't tell him my exact address. He walked the neighborhood looking for the car in the driveway and found me. I came in, and then
he hunted you down, girl.
Yes,
he did. And then it was history after that. Then we ended up getting married, and unfortunately
cool.
he passed away, but that's
And now we got
life.
Bob.
And now I got Bob. I mean, but it's
I didn't know Mark, but I know Bob, and I like Bob.
Yeah, well,
He
me
sends
too.
hearts.
Me
He
too.
sends hearts.
very cool.
We'll keep him.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's neat though that when you reconnect,
Yeah.
and it's like all the same,
Yeah,
sparks.
and it
and
sounded
everything.
like he just knew too. He went and searched you out, so obviously he knew. It just, when it's right, it's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Yeah, yeah, and it was like it was a whirlwind thing too. It's crazy.
cool. Very cool.
Good and bad, good and bad. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I know I don't want to get too into that.
I'm going to ask a question that's on the list. if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Ask away.
You indirectly speak about spiritual aspects in this book. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So it's interesting, this work, because it combines and shows how intertwined the psychological, the scientific, and the spiritual are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the psychological because you're dealing with that programming from the past. You're dealing with the science because you're dealing with the left, right brain process, which you're processing. So it's a science in that way. And you're dealing with the spiritual because after you bring these tapes that have been running incessantly within you to a close, or to slow them down, or ultimately to a stop, your energy rises, and that is the spiritual aspect. And even before that, you connect to the life inside of you. And as you heal these parts and bring these parts back into this present moment, all your energy goes in the same direction. Your energy rises. You become you come to a higher vibration through these low vibration beliefs and ideas, experiences. When you heal them, bring them back into this present moment, you naturally vibrate to a higher level. And once again, you create that intangible connection to the life inside of you, which logically cannot make sense. Doesn't make sense. Can't explain that. But and I mean, you're actually having a conversation. So, and the information you get, it's undeniable. And then you go into the higher wisdom. And the third book, third or fourth, anyway, is a bunch of the writings that have come out of this work, because the wisdom that we have in us is just unbelievable. So it's a series of writings from myself and Anne and some of our clients that has come through that is just wise. It's like, oh my God, that came through me. So that's going to be the third book, a series of those writings, and touches on a whole bunch of topics.
So before you found this modality, where was your spirituality then? Like, did you believe? Were you like, no?
So I had my satori, my awakening, when I was about 22. And it came through, actually, this is in the book too. It came through a relationship. And I'll tell you the full story here. And it was very young and immature, as so many young relationships are. I was a very black and white guy. Like, touch it, taste, feel it. That wasn't real, and I didn't want anything to do with it. I was a hockey player and a scrappy guy and all that stuff.
Canadians mostly are, but yeah, go ahead.
So when I met somebody, and it's kind of funny because my mother said, "Boy, when you meet somebody, you're gonna fall hard." I'm just, and anyway, so I met somebody and fell in love and had a real effect on me. I brought up emotions I did not know what to deal with, and it was a very tumultuous relationship. You know, we would fight and get back together, fight and get back together, and most of the time I was the one inducing the breakup. So finally, after breaking up. Well, we got engaged. First of all, I realized that, something's got to change. So I did the obvious thing and gave her a ring. So we were engaged, and like less than a year, whatever, we broke up. And I was devastated. And that really doesn't make any sense, And I started thought kind of a hopeless romantic am I, when, felt like my soul was bleeding is ridiculous. And what I realized there is it took me a while to understand that wounding, that hurt, that bleeding soul I was feeling was that 6-year-old, because that's where I remembered the sexual abuse. And as much as we don't want to or don't like to admit it, that initial relationship, that sexual abuse, is my first intimate relationship. And that doesn't make sense. But so when I got into an intimate relationship and these feelings got brought up again, I was totally triggered, and I was that wounded 6-year-old child who was confused and overwhelmed, and that's what came up, and that, even though I had my satori, my awakening, actually discovered the life within me, I still had all this wounding which I didn't know what to deal with. So, and that was the start of my spiritual practice. From there, we went to a counselor, and I was hoping that we'd go to a counselor together, so she'd stay on and get the help that she needed.
Yeah, that she needed. Yep.
Yeah, so that didn't work out very well. So I ended up staying on, and the counselor got me started on meditation. So that was really a big key in my life, because I was, at that point, I started to meditate for hours and hours, and I moved into a picker shack. You know what a picker shack is?
Mm-hmm.
It's this little tiny,
like a hut, like the
15 by 10 foot shack. Yeah, you got a place to sleep and a bathroom and a little kitchen.
Yeah. What do you
What's that?
There's a different name for those.
Okay.
My nephew's girlfriend with my nephew's son lived in one, just like the grass hut type things.
Oh, okay.
What do you call them?
Yurt.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this yurt is probably much nicer than this. I left everything. I left her with all of her stuff, and I just moved into this picker shack, which was a friend's family's orchard. And so I was meditating for hours, and that's where I saw the crystal within me. So I started on my meditation, my spiritual practice, really from that time. And when I got my nervous system compromised, I was really grounded.
I love the way you put such a traumatic event, my nervous system compromised.
Yeah.
Life was thrown into total, complete, and utter chaos.
Yeah, well, the nervous system is we are a human being with a nervous system, and are all in everything.
You don't think of it that way. And again, when you read it in your story and everything that comes into play here, it all makes that aha again.
Yeah.
So
And we are so agile too, and we don't realize, especially when we're doing so well.
We think we're doing well.
Right.
Yeah. So
again, that thing keeps coming back in. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting
Yeah.
different results, and you're falling down again. It could be one area, just one area, or it could be several.
yeah. And I want to say too that, yes, it was, not something I wish on my worst enemy, but this work came about, I believe, to show us how we can do our work in a safe and gentle manner,
Yeah.
and not have that happen, and not have to go through hell to become present, to become more connected to life, source,
Yeah.
energy, spirit.
I think my way of thinking is you went through that hell specifically so you could create this thing to make everybody else a more gentle way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, I always find a lot of people get irritated by that, but I will always find the silver lining in every clown. You give me a horrific situation, and I'll find it for you. That horrific situation that was caused from that quack. Sorry, that person who tried to rip it out of you. That horrific moment created you to be able to create this modality, this healing for other people without trying to rip it, because you know what it's like to be at the wrong end of it,
Yeah.
of a bad healing situation. So you don't want anybody to go through that. And I think that's what's important. What people should get is that he went through. You kind of went through all that shit for us to learn how to take care of ourselves.
I know,
Yeah.
and I wish it was that simple for everyone.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean,
But this is what gave you relief. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, like you say, I want to echo that, you don't have to go through that.
No.
You can, through this process, you can unwind in a very systematic and natural way. It doesn't mean there's that saying that pain is a given in this life, but suffering is optional. And in that, you still have to visit stuff. You have to do your work.
And for some it is and some it isn't, because I mean, I had to hit my rock bottom in order for me to turn my life around and completely change, and to see everything and to admit that I had a problem with with the life that I was leaving, I mean,
Right.
and I did, so I had to go through those steps. I had to get there, and it did. It made me the strong, independent, free. I mean,
Stubborn ass. Oh, sorry, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
All those things that made me who I am, though. That made me the boss. That made me the businesswoman, success. Like out of all those things, but in between those things was failure, failure, failure. And what are you gonna do? Wallow in that? No. Doesn't work. Try something else. Try something.
Yeah.
Find what does work. You can't sit there and dwell on what doesn't.
Yeah.
But there is that's just like a professional thing. However, when it comes to the emotional things, you can make yourself busy, make yourself very busy to not deal with those things. Oh, I can't do that because I have my businesses I'm running. Well, if you're doing your businesses running correctly, you have someone you can delegate stuff to, find the time to work on these things.
Right.
And like I've learned that a lot more being with Mama D than the real, in the real world businesses that I had.
Right.
I had to do everything, like me. I had to do
Yeah, but if you had had me in those real world businesses, you would have been okay. See, because I fix people, because I drive y'all crazy.
No. But I did the same thing then. It was because I kept myself very busy to not look at situations and the things that are going on.
And we can't see ourselves.
No.
And it's like we can't see through the filter of our own experience. And this is something that gives us the ability to have another perspective, or to understand why we're getting what we're getting in our life, why we're not getting what we say we want, and what's happening, how we're working, why this is happening to us. So to operate from our thinking mind, you're just going to be a rat in the wheel. You're just going to, and it's coping. Like right now, we've got a lot of information around trauma, but we haven't had that much about actual healing or resolution. Lots of coping skills, and the odd one trying to overcome, but there hasn't been a lot about actual resolution. And I believe this is a scientific way. We call it the next step in the evolution of our healing and spiritual growth, because it just seems so obvious. So
I know. And
The earth is
about
healing right
people
now.
jumping on the bandwagon, because I think this is the bandwagon that people are going to be jumping on. I think this is
Well,
like the next step, the natural process that's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to be in the evolution that the world is going to. Like we
right.
said, there is a conscious shift. There is a thing going. We're going to be talking about more about conscious shifts on Thursday. There is a lot of things going that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Metaphysical before used to be like, oh well, that's ashrams and this and that and the yogis and the whatnots, and that's their thing, and we're here. We got to work. We got to send our kids
yeah,
to school. We got to everyone's got to walk that straight and narrow.
yeah,
And now it's not like that. Now we have the connection, and we can feel the energy, and we're learning about energies, and we're learning how we really are connected, and especially with COVID.
yeah, yeah. I mean, is that not
Trapped.
the most amazing thing, that
Mhm.
the whole world was brought to a stop
Right.
and sent to the room to think about it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
And a
yeah,
lot of people are.
yeah,
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 and the thing is, during this time that we're all in our rooms thinking about what ding dongs we are and what we can do to, to help ourselves, the earth is healing.
yeah. No
We're
question.
giving her time to heal. And as much as people go, I don't want to be in my room. I don't want to. Look, there's dolphins in Venice canals. Dude, I mean, how can you go wrong with not, thinking that's such a good thing? I'll put my mask on if it's going to bring more dolphins and more whatever that,
Yeah, yeah.
deal with it, people.
Was it Hong Kong? Saw the blue sky for the first time in 25 years.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, the biggest fog place there is. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like, there's a lot of thoughts and beliefs and comments on all of this, and the conspiracy theories and so on. But the earth is healing, and all of our stuff is coming up. You look at the events that have come up through this. My God,
Yeah.
the Black Lives Matter stuff, and the pandemic itself, and I'm missing. There's a couple.
The Asians being attacked.
Yeah.
What?
And it's brought everything up for us. And once again, when something is up, it's up for healing. And there's an opportunity for us at this time to really embrace that and understand that this is our healing. This is a time to embrace this, what is coming up, so we can learn how to accept and love ourselves. And a lot of people don't know necessarily how to do that inner work, but to accept yourself is to accept how you feel and have inner compassionate connection for that part, and learn how to give yourself what you need to.
And I think the starting point with that for most people is to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Everything that we're going through now, everything that you've been discussing, like you said, the prerequisite is to have an open mind. Everything that we do in the 3 individuals that are here in this show, 10 years ago, people be like, what, you do what for a living?
Yeah.
You ghost hunt? What are you, nuts? You read cards? What are you, a gypsy? It's like the little guy in the box there. And the way of healing, go see your doctor. This is not something people would have. It would have been something that we hide. And like back in the day, way back in the day, when witches and were chased after. Now it's people are open-minded to it.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to be. Is if you want to learn something new, if you want to try something, you have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
First step. And we are so connected. Like, the internet has been called a model for God, so we're actually seeing and experiencing what everybody is going through too. So even though it's interesting, huh? Like, we're so connected through the internet and the COVID, yet we have to stay in our own little homes. It's kind of a dichotomy, but it's such an interesting dichotomy, because the bottom, like, if we want to heal the world, it starts with us.
Yeah.
When we heal inside of us, we are always making a deposit into this collective consciousness.
Yeah.
So if we are hurting, we are wounded, we are blaming, we are angry, whatever, that's the deposit we're making into the collective consciousness. When we come to the point of accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, and putting that positive stream of energy out there, that's our deposit. And as we do that, that's what shifts the world. And, you see people out there and they're fighting cancer and fighting to make change. And, I appreciate the intention and so on. But as Mother Teresa, when she was asked to march against the war in Vietnam, she said, I will not march against anything. When you have a march for peace, let me know. And, be the change you wish to see. So it's interesting how we are all connected and we're all alone.
I know.
Yeah.
Individually, we need to do our own healing, and that is how we heal the planet, starting with us, our friends, family, and
when we're out there and all together, we're feeding the negative a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And now that we've been separated, we seem to be feeding the positive
right
more.
Yeah.
Positively.
Yeah.
For the most part, not everybody.
Yeah. Some people, their stuff is up and it's tough to deal with their own mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and legit, they're going through some bad stuff. Some people have lost their businesses. Some people gain businesses. Some people, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's life in general. Again, don't work, and that didn't work for you.
Try something else.
Yeah.
Door.
What's next?
Right.
Well, that didn't work for you. Yeah, it's pointing you in another direction. Yeah. What's next? And in that, stop. Be still. Pay attention. And in that, we will learn that life is alive. It's, yes, sure, make change, but make the change from a place of trust. And, my spiritual practice is number one. I will not stop that. It's like probably 3 hours in the morning, just exercise and meditation. But, when you get grounded, that's like putting armor on. Armor is not the best way to describe it, but like Mr. Wayne Dyer said, when you're connected to spirit, nothing can go wrong. When you experience that sounds like a ridiculous pie in the sky statement. When you're connected to spirit, nothing can go wrong. Because spirit is everything. Therefore, you're in harmony and alignment with life that is running through all and everything. So that's where you can call it magic. It's not even magic, it's life. That's how life works, and we are learning that slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Now, I think a process like this too will benefit, the future generations and the future generations, because people are learning this at a younger age. People are having kids at younger ages. So if they're learning this at a younger age, they're going to teach their kids this at a younger age. Now, speaking of kids, is there an age that you would like?
We haven't worked with any young kids as such, and it's funny because they're way closer to spirit than the adult.
Yeah.
They had all the stuff piled on. To do this stuff, like a lot of times we call it soul food. When we're working with a client, we'll give them a left-handed painting or alternate hand painting because it just opens up that right brain or left brain, and it's a non-obtrusive way to express, and it's safe kind of thing. So kids tend to be already expressive, but if somebody has been traumatized, a child, absolutely. And if some child, they would be wide open. They'd probably be looking at us and say, what's the matter with you? Don't you know this already, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't see any issue as to why it wouldn't be a problem. That being said, we a lot of times have maybe a wife that comes to us and says, my husband needs to do this. And, maybe he does, but it's got to be up to him, and he has to want.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, wants to try this stuff out. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but again, you can't help someone else till you help yourself. That's always the case.
Can't give what you don't have.
Going down, you got to put the oxygen on you before you can put it on anybody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fact. Fact is back to a fact. So if you got your left brain, right brain, wanting to battle with each other, right? Facts are facts.
Yeah, and it's good to know too that what is good for you is good for everyone.
Sometimes it's not good for someone else.
What's that?
Sometimes what's good for you is not good for someone else. You can't force things upon people that they're not ready to hear.
Yeah, but in regards to like what you learn in this work, if that inner life requests something, you want to give it to them. That's it. Carte blanche. They don't want diamonds and trips around the world and millions of dollars. They want you.
Yeah.
So always the soul food, which is the homework, is always something that feeds your soul. And when you understand that what is good for you is good for everybody, and sometimes that means saying no to somebody or leaving somebody. But when you understand that what is the best for you, the guidance that you'll get is from higher consciousness. If it's good for you, it's good for everybody. That is real love, and that's a love that strengthens. Love is strong. So, but it's can be a tough one to accept that what is good for you is what is best for everybody. What is best for you is what is best for everybody.
Yeah, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't be taking care of other people. You can't be helping other people. So help yourself first. If you're not sure about it, make sure you have an open mind. Try something new. If you're not sure what you're doing is right, and then go to extraordinarylife.ca in Canada. And the other one is DaneStevensOnline.com. Everywhere else in the world. Go check him out. Trust us. Just do it. Because why? Because Mama said so. If you don't listen to Mama, Mama gonna be very upset.
And just remember, #Cold from Hell.
That's what I gave to Gina.
From Canada.
See, I'm a loving friend. I give her everything. And mine only lasted like 2 days.
I know. Bob lasted 3 days, and I get it for, 2 weeks.
Okay.
I hope they have a
something you have. Wait a minute. There's something you have to learn from that. Slow the down.
I've been doing nothing.
No, I don't now because the cold has made you do that. Beforehand, it was like, excuse me. She's up in the morning. She's up at God knows what time o'clock in the morning, and she's in the office doing work for the shows. Just. It's like I talked to her at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So what'd you eat? 3 coffees? No. I said, what did you eat, child?
I drink a pot of coffee every morning. I do.
There's a video on TikTok where this police officer is doing a voiceover of a little kid going, I don't have to. And he's got a giant ass pot of coffee. And I said, that's Gene.
I actually have a giant Dunkin' Donuts cup. It's like it's almost like a thermos like thing, right? Huge cup, but it has the regular lid and stuff. A whole pot fits in it.
She's tried it. Look, you can tell she's tried it.
That to work.
We were speaking about meditation, I believe.
Yes, the meditation. When you're doing the coffee, you have to wait till you start crashing from the coffee.
I have a guided meditation on the free resources page of DaneStevensOnline.com. You can get that. It will run you through your body, help you to slow down and be in tune with your body, and start drinking decaf.
That's nasty. I only drink like one, maybe 2 coffees a day, and decaf is disgusting. Ew. I'm sorry for anybody who's listening and likes decaf coffee.
I tried.
Could not. I can't. I given up so much stuff in my life. I'm telling you, my coffee. Not one of them.
We got to get her something that will replace the coffee, that thing of the coffee, to the point where she'll go coffee.
Chocolate would be the only other thing.
You know that the most eaten fruit in the world?
Chocolate.
Coffee bean?
Chocolate.
It grows on a tree. It's a fruit.
Coffee is considered a fruit, actually, and it's the most eaten fruit in the world. It's like, what? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Chocolate comes coffee bean, chocolate coffee tree. It's a fruit. If you want, you can call it a lettuce.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Dark chocolate's good for you.
Yeah. Dark chocolate.
No. The sea salt caramel dark chocolate.
Oh man.
I like white chocolate.
Hey, look, as I said earlier, I did a counseling with somebody, and I didn't charge them anything, and they were not happy, so they sent me 10 pounds of chocolate. It's all here.
Holy cow!
And I ate it all in hiding.
She doesn't share. She didn't share. She would eat this stuff in front of me, so then I would do the same to her. When we had Halloween, we had so much candy.
Oh my God, she still has it.
Yeah, I know, because we had so much.
You got something really fast. Really fast. Did you go under time in the Halloween session because you're all hyped up on sugar?
Well, no, we have a big thing, because we're into the paranormal, so we have a big setup. We had the projector with the dance.
Oh, right. Yeah, you guys got some wild tools there, huh?
Yeah.
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 But our graveyard, and we dress up, we do costumes, we have smoke, we have everything. We have animatronics and talking ghouls, and you name it. We do Halloween big. So
Yep.
we were out there working. Yeah, it was fun.
And then they dressed up for it at the night of.
Yeah, he was a Grim Reaper, a really good costume. Oh my God.
What was it?
He was a Grim Reaper.
Oh,
And
nice.
the costume was just amazing. He found it like last minute too. It had great hands, feet, everything. It was perfect. And we had ghouls, animatronic ghouls, and he would stand next to them. You couldn't tell. And then all of a sudden people would come through and they knew something was going to happen. Because we've been getting them every year with a different costume. So they knew something was going to come from somewhere. But they're watching these skeletons talking and, going back and forth. And all of a sudden he walks out from behind him and it's like, ah! Yeah. It was great. It's great. We love it.
Yeah, with green screen, you could do a lot, I guess. You need one of those things you can put on the back of your chair. Sure, you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I've seen the commercial, the big round one that you just click it on your chair.
We're going to sell 1 million of those.
Oh yeah. I have a big green screen, but we have the projector screen too. So it looks like the skeletons and stuff are.
Oh, no kidding!
If I put that screen up behind me and then put the projector on it, it would look like skeletons.
Oh, hilarious!
Right here.
Yeah. There was dancing and everything for Halloween.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But okay, so a shiny ball moment over. It is after our 10 o'clock.
It's after 10 o'clock.
So you stayed a little bit longer with us. Thank you so much. And
pleasure. Thanks for having me. Great to
I think you're
play with you both.
You have a great system here. I wish you all the best of luck. I think we're going to be in touch because me and Mama, I think we both want to do.
We're special. We need help.
And I wasn't kidding though when I said this about out of all the books that I read, and I read a lot. This would be the one that I would want to do, like to be I would work this program. I would be a great facilitator on this.
Thanks, Gina. But yeah, it is profound. Yeah. And I mean, I say that not from, it's got nothing to do with me.
No, it changed your life.
Yeah. As far as the developing, it came through me, but yeah, it definitely changed my life. There is no question about that one. Changed many levels.
Yeah, look at he's so grounded. You can tell.
Well, I'm in a long-term relationship now, living in this amazing place off the lake, and doing what I love to do. And,
okay, rub it in.
What else? Yeah. Anyway, I'm very fortunate and very lucky. So. And
notice what I'm saying. Notice how I'm saying it. When you do start your own show, go to StreamYard. This is the most amazing platform there is out there. Okay. You can do it without video, but it's more fun with video because people get to. Yeah. People seem to connect better when they can actually see the person that's talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I much prefer video. So. Will do.
All right. Okay. So hang with us for just a minute. All right. So everyone, we're going to see you 2 more times this week. Hopefully I will look and sound a little better, have a little more clearer head. Because I apologize. I'll have to watch this back. I don't know. But
you don't sound that bad. So stop whining, woman.
Okay. All right. Because I can feel it and hear it.
Yeah, but what we feel and hear of ourselves, I don't like to hear my voice. Personally, I think it sucks, but everybody thinks because I got a great voice. You sound good.
Yeah, you sound fun. Yeah. You actually can't tell you have a cold, surprisingly enough.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Well, good. Good. Robitussin.
They are not sponsored by Robitussin.
Yep, there it is. All right, so we will see you all now. Our next show is going to be Wednesday at noon. Noon, the afternoon. We have not ever done.
You better hope I can get this face together by noon.
I know. I'm going to be out of bed. So, yes, with Dr. Gabriel Cousins. And he's a pretty intense guy. So we will be seeing him Wednesday. Dane, we hope to have you back on the show again when that next book comes out.
Great, thank you.
I definitely need that show. We will be in touch, but hang with us. All right, everybody, ciao for now. We love you. Thanks for seeing us on a Monday night.
Bye.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our Anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.